All right, taking the hot tag, and what a hot tag it is. We got Bad Blood 2024, the latest WWE pay per view. I'll never call it a PLE. I don't like calling it PLE, but it's pay per view, but it
It's
does
awkward,
follow.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is, but it does follow this new WWE PLE format, which I do like. Keeping it short, sweet, several matches, good builds. So here we go. It opened up real hot. Punk and McIntyre, the whole basis of the show, basically opens Hell in a Cell, very first match opening the show, and they bled Rivers. Punk hit him with a to open up Drew McIntyre. Punk hit him with a toolbox that was made of like diamond cut steel. It was gnarly, and it was a total like MJF throwback from when he hit him with the oxygen tank.
I heard it took
So
16 staples to put him back together.
yeah, basically, it was really
Oof.
nasty. Um, they go through a really basic Hell in a Cell match that's still good despite being kind of basic. But then Drew McIntyre puts stairs in the ring. He goes and goes to he gets Punk in there and he goes to do something to him on the stairs, but he pulls out a bag and you think it's thumbtacks, but it's not thumbtacks. It's a bag full of friendship bracelet beads. And dumps he
Yes.
dumps them out all over Punk, and then he goes to claymore him into the stairs. And Punk moves after he's already launched himself for the claymore, so he hits lower back first on the corner
Oh.
of the stairs. It is gnarly. I recoiled so hard, but then Punk goes over while McIntyre's selling. He picks up a chain that had been previously used
I
in the
don't think
match.
he's selling at that
Probably
point.
not, no. But he picks up a chain that had been previously used in the match. He wraps it around his knee. He picks up a handful of these bracelet beads. He shoves them in McIntyre's mouth, and then GTS with the chain on the knee. 1, 2, 3, Punk wins. He sold it really well walking up the ramp. He collapsed, and they gave him oxygen, but then he got back up and still walked out on his 2 feet. While they had the camera on him, he was like, "I want my wife." The only thing he was asking for was his wife. McIntyre was somehow shown getting back to his feet, which I don't think should have happened, but distraught nonetheless. Really great match. 2 thumbs up on this one for me. Great payoff to this feud. I hope that's it. I hope it's over. They keep saying it. This is where it would end. I hope they stick to that. Next match was Nia versus Bailey. Typical Nia versus Bailey match. Um, Bailey got Nia down. Stratton interfered. She hit Bailey with the case, but when she hit Bailey with the case, the referee had been bumped out. And the referee got up as she hit Bailey with the case and thought she was trying to cash it in, which Nia Jax then came to, and kind of like the previous night on SmackDown, sees what looks to be a cash in situation happening while she's laid out. She's upset about it. But the Stratton interference basically, caught she Bailey got hit with the case. Nia capitalized on that. Nia retains. So that also leads me to believe that still the cash in will be Tiffany on Nia, new champion Tiffany Stratton. I mean, it's just they're just telegraphing it at this point. Um,
They're doing a
but
lot of work trying to
yeah,
make you think that for something that if they're not going to do it, that's going to be one heck of a red herring.
yeah, yeah. So thumbs up on the match for me. But it was mostly just to further the Stratton cash in thing. Wish she or won't she thing.
I
It
saw
wasn't
the
really.
Naya Kamrana. That
Yeah,
was
man,
something.
it was something. Well, yeah. Um, after
We'll leave
that,
it at that.
yeah. After that, Damian Priest defeated Finn Balor. He fought off Judgment Day interference because, of course, he did. And then beat Balor. Balor coup de grace him like 4 times in a row, and then he on the fifth one he caught him in a choke slam, and that was it. So
So they did the Ultimate Warrior Randy Savage deal.
I guess so, man. Yeah, he hit him so many times with that coup de grace, and
Ugh.
I was like, as many times as they're
Oh my
doing
god.
it, Finn's got to win, but no, it basically rendered the coup de grace useless on Damian Priest at least. After that, I mean, the match was good though. Serviceable match, good match. I didn't expect the finish, so anytime I don't expect the ending, thumbs up. So I didn't expect Damian Priest to win, so he did. Thumbs up for that. After that, there's a 10-minute period that I'm going to talk about later. I'm not going to talk about it right now. Um, and I will explain that fully later. But anytime something like this happens on a WWE show, we will have a gap just like this, where I don't talk about this specific 10-minute period. I will tell you what happened later as I'm explaining why we won't talk about it in the future. But in the future, there will just be a gap like this where I don't talk about this particular 10 minutes. Okay. So after that 10 minutes is over, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley with Dom in a shark cage. I always love the shark cage gimmick. I'm a sucker for it.
I'm a sucker for the shark cage too. It's so cool. I don't know. I always love it, even though it's super predictable every time.
Rhea came out with a roll of toilet paper with Dom's face all over it, which they're apparently now selling at WWEshop.com. Hell yes, know your people. Okay, he has such nuclear heat that toilet paper would only work with somebody like him. And yeah, I'd pay $16 to wipe his face on my ass. So she comes out with the toilet paper.
Explain that to guests though.
Right. She puts it in the cage. So then Dom and Liv come out, and then these two WWE shirted guys. They don't really look like local security. They look like maybe actual WWE officials of some kind. I've never seen them before. But they come up and kind of like very forcibly like shove Liv off and grab Dom and like put him in the cage. And, and like she's like, no, don't put him in there. They're like, shut up. And they just like escort him to the cage. Like it's very kind of rough right there. But they escort him to the cage. He's playing the pussy the whole time. He's sitting on the floor of the cage. He won't stand up. He doesn't stand up the entire time. So he's stuck in the cage. But then Rhea's like, second thing, because the first she was like, when they announced the stipulation, she was like, one thing I know about you is that you're claustrophobic as hell. So here's the shark cage. Then she comes out, once they get him in the shark cage, she comes out and she's like, oh, the other thing I know about you is that you're afraid of heights. So let's go ahead and hoist him up. So he's freaking out on the floor because he's being hoisted up, which I knew that was going to happen. It's a shark cage match. You hoist him up.
Shark cage. That's what you expect. How did he not expect it?
Liv is freaking out.
Ain't you never watched the show?
Right. So Liv's freaking out. What are you doing? Oh my gosh. And but he's playing the wuss the whole time. He's sitting on the floor of the cage. He's suspended pretty high up enough that there's definitely, I'll just say it now before I get to the rest of the match, there's definitely not going to be him jumping out of that cage spot. Okay.
Yeah.
He is not coming out of that cage willingly.
Yeah.
We'll say that. So they have their match. It's very good. I mean, Liv pulled out they said she calls it the home wrecker. It's pretty awesome. It's like a packaged Poison Rana. It's weird, but it was cool, man. The way she set it up, the way it was executed, it was really awesome. I liked it. Other than that, match not incredibly memorable, except for Rhea, while also selling a hurt leg, because Liv did really work on the leg, the previously injured leg. Liv went for an oblivion and Rhea backflipped out of it, which was really cool. I hadn't seen anybody do that with the oblivion before. So that was cool. She backflipped out of it. But then Dom got the cage door open, and then Rhea hit Liv with a riptide. And then she went to the referee and she's like talking to the referee a little bit. But while she's talking to the referee, Dom has got the cage door open and he falls out with a piece of chain wrapped around his ankle. So he basically becomes a human pinata below the shark cage. So he's hanging there underneath the shark cage.
How do you not like tear his ankle to shreds?
I don't know, but he fell out.
Incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, so he fell out with this chain wrapped around his ankle, and the chain hung him up like a human pinata. So then Rhea goes she goes to the referee. She's like, hey, she's knocked out. I'll be back to finish this in a second. Can you give me 1 minute to go handle some business outside the ring? And the referee said, he had the referee cam on so you could hear him. And they switched to the referee cam. He's like, yeah, you deserve that. And she goes, okay. So she goes out of the ring. She gets under the ring. She picks up a freaking kendo stick. She goes over to Dom while he's hanging from this chain, and she treats him like a human pinata. She just goes to town. She starts whooping his ass. At this point, I'm thinking
everybody hates, even the referees hate Dom.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, yeah, he got so much heat.
Like, because I don't like that. Honestly.
Yeah,
like,
but this is what leads to the finish though. She's beating on him, and suddenly out of nowhere, this larger woman shows up and just smashes into Rhea Ripley, and then drags her into the ring. But so she smashes into her and starts beating her up, and the referee calls for the bell, so the match is over.
Okay.
But she drags Rhea into the ring and then puts Liv on top of her anyway. Bad move anyway. But at this point, we figure out it's Raquel Rodriguez.
Okay.
Who I thought was a face when she left, when she got injured or whatever, but I guess maybe not. I don't know.
Well, they'll probably write her some rationale.
But if they need a strong woman character to take on Rhea, this is a good choice. I didn't like the way the match ended, though. I didn't like her just kind of showing up and smashing her. I really wanted Rhea to get the bell back, so I really didn't like how it turned out. But, here we go. We're going to get more Rhea in Judgment Day, at least, if not more Damien in Judgment Day, which we probably will that too. So the match was kind of so-so for me, just based on the finish. But before that, like the Dom was hilarious. He still had his nuclear heat. It was very typical of what was going on. I thought the pinata spot was going to be good, but Michael Cole, when I thought he was going to say he's like a pinata, I guess thought that would be too racist or something, and because he's Hispanic, and said he's like a hung side of beef or hung piece of meat or something weird like that, and I was like, oh, that's not better. So Corey Graves then proceeded to agree with him that that's what he was also thinking. So I don't know, weird.
See, that would make sense if she beat him up with her hands, like doing the Rocky Balboa bit with the thing in the freezer. Like, you could make the argument there.
But she had the stick. I mean,
she beat him with the stick. Like, racist or not racist, that's the obvious thing that you go to.
Right.
And that's clearly the imagery they were going for.
Right? They had him hung up.
Which means that Dom was okay with it.
Yeah. Which means pinata.
Pinata.
Okay, so
at least they didn't get Oklahoma on the call.
Yeah. Oh God. So
pinata, candy, stick, Hoovy, Dr. Death.
So yeah, the match kind of got an overall so-so from me, but that's, every show's got one. There it is. Then we had Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. The match itself was pretty good. The way they built the heat, I thought that Cody was going to take all the heat at first, but then they got Roman in pretty early, and he took a lot of heat. But then Cody got in and did take the pre-Hope, did take the Hope spot heat, did take the hot tag for Roman.
He was Ricky Morton.
Yeah, basically. So Roman came in, he cleaned house, but then the Bloodline interfered as always, as they do. But then Roman gets Solo down. He's going for a spear. They interfere. Solo spears him instead. And then Solo then takes a long time to kind of set up his little thumb thing. He's got Roman down. He's yelling at him, I'm the real tribal chief. You let me down. You told me I was next in line. You lied to me. He's getting ready to go for the thing. And then, there's suddenly in between Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, there's a third guy standing outside the ring. And he's got on a black hoodie and a bandana over his face.
Oh, a black hoodie and a bandana over his face in Bloodline interference. I wonder who that could be.
Well, I wondered who it could be too. And then I realized this guy wasn't as tall as who I thought it could be. And then he super kicked Tama Tonga and he super kicked Tonga Loa and he ripped off his freaking hoodie and his little mask, and it's Jimmy Uso returning. And he jumps in the ring and he's telling Roman how much he loves him and shit. And then he jumps out. Roman goes for the spear, gets it, pins Solo 1, 2, 3. Then Jimmy gets in the ring and he's telling him how much he loves him. They do the big embrace, huge pop for the embrace. Like the pop for him kicking them too and then revealing was huge. It was really like one of the biggest pops of the night, easily. And then the pop for the hug was easily a point and a half higher. It was just, it was a good one. And then Cody Rhodes gets in the ring and he's got his belt in his hand. And, him and Roman shake hands or whatever. And then Roman and Jimmy leave the ring. And then the Bloodline all get in and start beating up Cody Rhodes. And Roman looks back at the ring. And Jimmy looks at him. He goes, we got to do the right thing. But whatever you want to do, like he's saying this to him, he's like, we got to do the right thing. But whatever you want to do, I'm with you. And Roman kind of looks at him and he looks back at the entrance. He looks back at the beatdown and he goes, all right, come on, fuck it. And they take off towards the ring and they go and they beat down the Bloodline. And then in the process of all that, Cody's dropped his title belt. So Roman picks it up, kind of gives it the look. Then he kind of hands it over to Cody and they raise each other's hand. Okay, nothing fishy going on. And then the Rock's music hits and the Rock shows up. And he doesn't say a word. He just comes out. He stands there for like 2 solid minutes. He gives the people's eyebrow, which gets a pop, just that.
Well, of course it does.
Taps his chest a couple of times and acknowledges the pop, and then he walks away. And so that was it. That's when the show goes off the air. But then today on Twitter, they posted an after the show segment where Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens are talking to each other, and they're out by Cody's bus, and Kevin Owens beats up Cody Rhodes. So I guess we're going to see how that all turns out tomorrow night on Raw. But that's what happened at Bad Blood. I thought it was a really good show. Yeah, I guess it will be on SmackDown. Okay. Either way, we'll be covering it next week. But yeah, I mean, Bad Blood was overall a good show, man. I thought most of the matches were real hot. As far as what I liked and what I didn't like, I really liked the Hell in a Cell match. Bam, it was really good. I really liked Jimmy Uso's return. Freaking fantastic. What I didn't like.
I know where this is going.
Anytime the WWE mentions or has a show in Saudi Arabia, I will not be participating. I'm
not going to expect you to.
As someone who is previously a published journalist, I have a moral difference that cannot be reconciled with the government of Saudi Arabia and the country of Saudi Arabia. So anytime the WWE does anything there, I will not be participating. However, what happened here was they unveiled a new belt that is ugly as sin.
It is. I saw the pictures.
It's ugly as sin. I don't have a lot good to say about this. Okay, the segment started. He says we're going to have a thing in Saudi Arabia every year at Crown Jewel now, where the active champions from each brand will face each other. Those titles will not be on the line, but this title will. For men and women, all the titles. But this title will be for the champions of each brand, the men's champion, I guess, of each brand. And whoever wins that match will win this title. So I guess it's going to be a yearly belt that they carry around, kind of like the King of the Ring thing, where they're going to say, I'm the Crown Jewel champion because they beat the other person. I actually really like this concept, but I hate that they're doing it on Saudi Arabia.
You know what it is? They listened to our podcast and sniped our idea.
Yeah,
for the Continental Classic. That's what they did. Clearly. So either way, they're doing it in Saudi Arabia, which I hate because I really like the concept of what's happening here. However, this belt is ugly as sin. Saudi Arabia is a boo-boo country. I apologize to anybody who is listening to us from Saudi Arabia. I'm sure we are illegal there. Probably.
But if you are listening to us from there, we love you. We just don't like your government. But I will not be, other than that, I will not be participating in talking about Saudi Arabia. Now, Gunther came out during this segment and then kind of pointed out Bill Goldberg in the audience and started picking on him. And then Bill Goldberg came over.
I thought he was his favorite.
Yeah, but then Bill Goldberg comes over the railing and a bunch of security holds him off. And Gunther is going to leave and Sami Zayn attacks Gunther. And that's what gets Gunther to leave. They fight their way out of the arena, basically. And that's what gets Gunther to leave. And then Goldberg celebrates like Triple H holds up Goldberg's hand and they celebrate like Goldberg did something. Overall, complete boo-boo segment. The biggest black eye on this thing. I will forgive all the crap I don't like about the women's match because this was absolute crap. I don't like it. I'm never going to like the Saudi Arabia thing, and that's the last I'll say about it. But the Goldberg and Gunther thing on top of it was stupid. The way they had Goldberg celebrating over nothing was stupid. I didn't like it at all. Now back to what I did like. The overall show was really good. I liked it. The show it had a good pace. Everything was really cool. I knew what was going on in all the matches. They were all properly built. The finishes of stories that were being finished were good. The progression of the Bloodline story was good. Like I said, I don't really like the new Bloodline, but I like the story and I like, like what's going on over there. So bringing The Rock in, what's going to happen? Like SmackDown's going to be a crazy episode because we're going to have like a lot of things going on. Raw too. I'm just kind of waiting to see what's going on there, but I'm really looking forward to like Sami Zayn and Gunther on Raw this week. That's kind of what's at the forefront of my mind now that Bad Blood's over. But yeah, I mean, Punk and McIntyre put on a masterpiece of a Hell in a Cell match. I give the show overall 2 thumbs up. So, yeah, it was really good.
On.